So thank you again for your inputs. And while we are winding down our afternoon now, in light of what we have heard so far, we wonder now what contribution New City can offer to the world of mass media today. So let's listen to our very own editor-in-chief all the way from Italy, Mr. Jose Aranas.
Dear New City friends, I wish to share with you some points of reflection for this New City Day. Recently, I watched the championship football match between Italy and England, in which there is a tie between the two teams, and the game calls for an extension of 30 minutes. A grueling 30 minutes for the tired players after almost having played for 2 hours. I reflected that in this time of the pandemic, we are given an extended time, even penalties to reach more goals. For us in the movement, the one goal is clear: ut omnes, that all may be one. The pandemic seems an extended time, just like in a football match, or I may call it a borrowed time. We know that we are in a borrowed time, as some and loved ones have reached their final hour in this time of the pandemic, and we who are alive and with a bit of good health have been given still an extra time to contribute to our goal of unity and of universal brotherhood. So, what do I wish to do with my borrowed time? How can I contribute to our goal of unity in this extended time? For example, as a writer, as a journalist, I wish to write more articles, do more interviews, write children's stories that will help reach our goal of unity, write beautiful experiences and beautiful profiles that will inspire people to work for peace and brotherhood. Yes, not all of us have the vocation to be a writer, but we can allow God to write and complete His marvelous design in our lives. For example, as a teacher, as a parent, or in whatever status or big vocation in life we are in. A second point of reflection in this borrowed time: how do I allow God to write and complete His marvelous design in my life? These questions presuppose that we believe in God, the Father Almighty and Creator of heaven and earth, our point of origin and destination. As Kara Lubick also discovered this during the time of war. She also felt that she was living in an extended time, as death and destruction were all around her. She let herself be guided by the Word, and with this, she discovered a new perspective to live our Christian faith, which is now the points of our spirituality. And the golden thread that weaves all these points of spirituality is God love, the love of God the Father who cares for us personally. To help us reach our goal of unity in our borrowed time, I wish to propose three attitudes which somehow God is teaching us in this time of the pandemic. First is humility. The pandemic made us humble. We learned humility, which has its origin from the word humus, the soil, the earth. We are reminded of our limits and that we need God. Actually, we are loved by God. This became clearer to me when I noticed that in the Gloria that we sing at Mass on Sundays and feast days, the praise peace to people of goodwill was now changed to people beloved by God, as approved by Pope Francis. At first, I was not used to it, and I prefer the phrase peace to people of goodwill. But reading Pope Francis' thoughts, especially when he reminded us that we cannot reach salvation by our own will and effort and knowledge alone without God's grace. Humility make us receive God's grace, that we need Him when we seem powerless. For sure, human intelligence through science will find the best cure for COVID and other illnesses in the future, which is always God's grace. But we will always be faced with our limits at a certain point like that. It takes humility to accept this reality and to trust in the love of God, notwithstanding the sufferings that we experience. Another attitude is the virtue of obedience. It comes from the Latin word ob audere, to listen to. We can reach our goal if we know how to listen to the voice of the Spirit or to read the signs of the times. I was deeply touched by a book which also became a film by R.J. Palacio entitled Wonder, about Augie, a boy who has a facial defect, and with his family and close friends, they overcome their struggles in life together. In one of the precepts taught by Augie's teacher, Mr. Brown, it says, if given the choice between being right or kind, choose kind, from Wayne Dyer. Obedience, that is listening to the voice of the Spirit, urges us to love and be always kind at all times. Lastly, gratitude. A humble and listening person is thankful. Chiara used to say, if I will be in front of God, I wish to be called grazie or thanks. As we also celebrate Mary's queenship today, the humble maiden from Nazareth, and whose humility and obedience made her utter the Magnificat, all generations will call me blessed, because she allowed God to manifest His love in her life, believing that His love will triumph over evil, as nothing is impossible with God. And so we wish to thank you, our new city friends, and to ask God's blessing for you for keeping up with Christ's goal of unity. Our wish is that we may sing together with Mary the Magnificat. Yes, raise up the humble, and all generations will call me blessed. Maraming salamat po for taking time to listen to this simple reflection.
Ayan, let's give a virtual clap for Kuya Jose. Thank you very much, Jose. Well said. And thank you for the beautiful reminder of the feast of the Queenship of Mary. Again, thank you, everyone. And now we have come to the end of yet another New City afternoon. We thank you for your patronage and participation. Now, the future is uncertain, and no one has the blueprint or the master plan in their hands. All we have is now. So let's make it count. Let's remember to always live the present moment well and to the fullest.
Yes, let's remember to keep our gaze on our destination, guided by the compass of our true north. New City is the mouthpiece of the Focolare. It speaks to the world of the gospel concretely lived. We invite everyone to share experiences and stories through dialogue in an atmosphere of being a family.
And so, before any brownout happens, this has been your host, Gio.
and Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Ayan na.
Let's have a photo together. Picture, please. Picture, please. Okay. Open. 1, 2. The first one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Last. Open your 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you, everyone. We also have participants from the US and Thailand.
Ciao, Bene. Happy birthday, Bene.